Welcome to the Nagual Zone. My name is Anaam. Really interesting couple of questions today by a user called Unfortunate Plateau. I did a video a while back called Unbending Intent. Link is coming up. And in it he asked these two questions. The comment goes, "Thanks so much for putting together this channel and the videos. Two questions. You mentioned that you should leave things better than you found them, with an implication that helping your fellow man might be important. In the books, Don Juan says something along the lines of that you can't help your fellow man in reality, and it's better to just focus on the training of being a warrior. To what degree does helping humanity square with the Toltec path? Fabulous question. See, this is why I love the comments, because the questions you ask, they're like gold. It's very, very true. What the crow has said, you can't really help your fellow man. You can't. You can offer aid. You can offer aid, but you cannot actually help someone. They must want to help themselves more than want to remain in their current situation. Obvious enough, right? But you'd be surprised how many people don't get this. So many people complain, I want to change, I want to give up smoking, or I want to lose weight, I want to do this, I want to do that. But their want to change isn't stronger than their want to remain the same. So we can't really help someone. The warrior does not waste their precious time, precious energy going around trying to help humanity. That doesn't even make sense to me as a warrior. It may make sense to the average man, and it may even shock and scandalize if I was to come on the scene in a party or someone and say, oh, I couldn't care less about helping any of you or anyone else. I couldn't care less about helping anyone. And it's really true. I actually don't do anything in my life in order to help humanity or help someone. I just don't. It's a total waste of your time. You can try it. Try it. Go and offer your aid versus try to help. The former is freeing the other person to accept your aid or not, and the latter is demanding from them a response that you have decided they should respond like. And if they're not going to respond like that, likelihood is you'll be disappointed with humanity or create basically a complaint. Find a reason to complain. So that is why warriors stay away from helping people. We don't help people. We offer our aid. We don't even offer our aid. What we do is open up to the calls of spirit. For example, I don't offer my aid here. I don't even offer my aid. I'm not here to help anyone on this channel. I really am not. I'm extremely clear on that. I've said this before, that this is purely a stalking exercise for me. The purpose of this channel is very, very different for me than it is for you. And that is natural. That is as it should be. You get something completely different out of this channel than what I get out of this channel, right? So my reasons for making these videos are very different. Are they to help humanity or to help humans or to help you? Not really. That is just an after effect of the content. You see? It's just an after effect of the content. The content is such that it happens to help those who are willing to be helped. You see, these are subtle points. The crux of the matter is a warrior cannot afford to navigate their life stream from the viewpoint of morality. If you're a warrior and you think morality is your navigation point, you are solely, all you will manage to do is create aberrations inside you and in the world around you. I guarantee you this. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So stop trying to help humanity, trying to help others, trying to help your family, trying to help this person, that person change. Basically, what is trying to help? You want them to change. Why not accept where they are instead? You see, I did another video recently, a few weeks ago, I believe. It was called Toltec Compassion. And go ahead and watch the video, the link is coming up, but read the description. In the description, I took out passages from one of Castaneda's books where he describes his time with Don Juan in a restaurant where these young boys, totally very impoverished young boys, hover around the restaurant looking for scraps of food. And the series of questions that Carlos Castaneda asks Don Juan is very interesting. Very interesting. So go ahead and read that description very carefully and read it again and read it again. And you will see why a warrior cannot and does not help anyone. So let's make that very clear. Helping is an after effect. It is an after effect of the presence of the warrior. The presence of the warrior, genuine warrior, not keyboard warrior. Just what the when someone is impeccable, when someone does things impeccably, when someone is always leaving things better than they found them, to the best of their ability, right? When someone is clear, fearless, and knowledgeable, when someone has enough personal power to carry these off in their real life, not just read books about them, but actually be that person in real life, don't you think everyone else will be inspired? Don't you think everyone else will be helped merely by that person being around? Even if it's just an example that they watch. You see, one of my favorite sayings, you know which one it is? It is by, I believe it was Saint Francis of Assisi. I'm sure that was not his name. These are Roman names. Romans have defined reality for you, for the average man, for 2,000 years now, more than 2,000 years. Saint Francis of Assisi said something very, very significant. He said, preach the gospel wherever you go. If necessary, speak. I'll repeat that again. Preach the gospel wherever you go. If necessary, speak. I've based my entire life on this one sentence. And I can tell you, I can assure you, it's the most powerful way to live. If people get helped by you being around, by what you speak, by what you want to speak, by what you point out or don't point out, by your inner silence, most of all, if humanity gets helped, humanity, great, well and good. But that is not of any concern for the warrior. Imagine if the warrior starts getting concerned about this point. They will lose energy like a... no way, man. Not gonna happen. We have to be far more efficient, streamlined than that. So yes, in a sense, it is much better to focus on your training, because your training as a warrior, if you're an apprentice, none of my apprentices go around helping anyone. They are expected to solely focus on their training. And through their training, guess what happens? They start reporting things, events, happenings in their life. That talk they had with their family member, but it was a very different kind of talk because they now brought inner silence into it. You see, their training kicked in, and suddenly it was one of the best talks they ever had with their dad or whatever, hundreds of different scenarios. So To what degree does helping humanity square with the Toltec path? Zero. Less than zero. The moment you start getting concerned about this point, you will start believing your own bullshit and start going around helping people. And you will do more harm than good. I guarantee this. I guarantee this. Second question. If you are able to manifest anything you want, which is within reason true, and it's important to be able to handle any challenges as a warrior, that is vital. That is a matter of life and death for a warrior. Must you limit the amount of manifesting you do in order to practice what he says is staying sharp? In the same way warriors use petty tyrants, a lot of aberrations here, a lot of mismatches with reality, with how energy flows in the universe. You see, the way energy flows in the universe, it is a very abundant flow. It is a very unimpoverished flow. It is a very rich flow. Look at nature all around you. Nature is not impoverished in any way. One tree, just watch how much fruit it yields, how many seeds it gives, how many leaves. There's this myth of the world being impoverished is a man-made phenomenon. It is humans who experience poverty. Must you limit the amount of manifesting you do in order to practice staying sharp? What would be the point of that? Can you not stay sharp being very abundant? It makes no sense, right? So if I was abundant, if I was prosperous, so if I say I had 10,000 pounds in my bank, I'm gonna put a cap on that and not have any more money in my bank. Otherwise, somehow I won't get to stay sharp. You see that it doesn't make any sense when you actually spell your question out. The way abundance works, I'll tell you how abundance works. I'll tell you how prosperity works. And I will tell you this is how nature works. The more you have, the more is added unto you. It's a fabulous, fabulous piece of knowledge that is present in the Gospels in the Bible. I don't know of any other books that have that, but I know in the Bible it is certainly there. It is a very puzzling thing for this character Jesus to say. The more you have, the more you get. And the less you have, even less, you'll end up with even less than that. When I first read this statement, this was more than 20 years ago, I was perplexed. I was like, but that makes no sense. The more I have, the more I get. And the less I have, the less I will get. Shouldn't be the other way around. But it is absolutely true. That is the law of nature. The more you have, the more responsible you have to become about it. The more impeccable you have to become about it. Responsible. You know what responsible is? Responsibility. The ability to respond. For the warrior, the ability to respond impeccably. The average man does not even know impeccability is a thing, let alone realize the value of impeccability. For the warrior, it is a matter of life and death. In the later stages, close to becoming a man of knowledge and beyond, it actually literally is a matter of life and death. Lack of impeccability can have serious consequences. So the error to slip up becomes less and less and less. But you know what? You get more and more qualified as well. So and the training really sets in after 20 years, 30 years of living as a warrior. It gets into your system in a way that just learning about it, an apprentice won't be able to have that kind of absorption in themselves. We can't just limit our blessings. We can't. Why would you want to do that? In order to stay sharp? But doesn't that say something about your staying sharp ability? That you have to limit yourself in order to stay sharp. It makes no sense. You see how when you actually spell it out, when we think all this stuff in our head, it's sort of these philosophies take on a life of their own in our head, and they live amazing lives in our head. All they are just fantasies. But when someone comes along, or you write them down, or actually spell that stuff out, you start going, that makes no sense. I was thinking about that, is just doesn't make any sense. You see? So my encouragement to you is, instead of worrying about to limiting yourself, let's see you prove to yourself that you can become unlimited in one area in your life. Just one. There are three chief concerns for the average man: the demands and subscriptions of the mating instinct, under which these three chief concerns fall. The average man is basically a walking subscription to the demands of, is a slave to the mating instinct. That's all the average man actually is. I'll tell you what. These three are its main concerns: mating, which is propagation of the species, finding a suitable mate to love and basically produce children. Secondly, to find shelter for that setup. And thirdly, because of the way this civilization works, to earn enough resources to be able to maintain that setup. That is all that the average man ever cares about when it really comes down to the wire. The warrior has not even a single care about these concerns. I can assure you of that. One day I will do a video on the mating instinct and its demands and subscriptions, and I will break it all down for you, and you'll be amazed. You will go, wow, if I'm really honest. Interesting. So, because everyone pretends they're a big shot in their own head. Everyone's better than Don Juan in their own heads, and especially behind the keyboard. All keyboard warriors. Let me see you prove to yourself that you are unlimited in one of these three areas. Relationships. Let's see you give and become that impeccable master of high quality energy exchange, unlimited high quality energy exchange. Let's see you become unlimited in that. Let's see you become unlimited in resource fullness, which means gathering resources constantly. And in return, you see, the universe is an exchange-based model. In return, giving something, whatever it is, that is apt to give back, and establishing an unlimited flow of prosperity in your life. Let's see you do that. Just prove to yourself, because you can do it. You can do it. And third, unlimited health. Unlimited, which means you never get sick. Your body functions at its peak efficiency, at its peak body wisdom, at its peak efficient, lean output at all times. Yeah? You don't have seasons of, I used to be very fit when I was 18. Now I am 60 years old and I am so helpless. Poor me. No. Don't give me your past glories. They mean less than nothing, and they do not impress. How is your peak physical conditioning right now? Do you have unlimited amounts of energy to accomplish with great joy and appreciation the tasks that are yours to accomplish this day? So it's just a question that is kind of like a strange kind of, oh, should we limit ourselves in order to stay sharp? Now, I'm not actually doing this as a personal thing to the user who asked this question, because the question is great. So thank you for asking these questions. but it is to highlight where that question is actually coming from. Do you know where it's coming from? It's coming from someone who has yet to realize that they're a champion, that they can manifest anything they want, but they haven't proved that to themselves just yet. You know what I've observed in life? I'll tell you exactly what I've observed. We were talking about this in the morning today. We were all sitting around. There's 4 of us, myself and 3 beautiful women. We all live together, including the friend I was talking about in the video last week. Yeah, we all live together. She lives with us. Like we all live together. We were all sitting around, and I was at one point in the conversation pointing out that all I have observed in myself in the past and in others is fear of success rather than fear of failure. People ask so many questions because they're afraid to succeed. Those who are not afraid to succeed, they don't need to ask questions. They get on with it. They get on with proving to themselves how successful they can be. So their days are filled with filled with their eyes on the prize, and they just get on with it, and they accomplish the things they need to do to create that success groove. And it's no different in the warrior's world. If you're going to be successful as a warrior, you need to keep your eyes on the prize, completely unhindered and undistracted, and you need to get on with it. Stop asking questions. Now, I'm not saying questions are not bad, and in fact it may come across as if this question is a bad question. No, not at all. No question is bad, never. However, we can't let questions distract us from action. So my challenge to you, unfortunate plateau, prove to yourself that you can be unlimited in one or all areas of at least the average man's world, which is the demands and subscriptions of the mating instinct. Love, career, and prosperity, in the average man's language. Or resourcefulness, mating instinct, which is basically love in the average man's world, love, and health. Let me know what you think of what we've talked about today. Leave your comments. I always welcome reading them. Walk in freedom. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.